Hello, Julie Sweet here. Welcome to Reinvented with Accenture. I'm super excited to welcome Corie Barry, the CEO of Best Buy, the world's largest consumer electronics retailer. So welcome, Corie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's lovely to be here.
It would be great to hear a little bit more about your reinvention journey and how you think about reinventing for your consumers.
One of the 4 core values at Best Buy is learning from challenge and change. And those values were set by our founder more than 50 years ago. If you think about what we were selling 20 years ago, VCRs, compact discs, those things are completely gone, and we've already had to reinvent our floors for a whole new realm of technology. And so leadership is not a static journey. Operating models are not a static journey. And so this idea of learning from challenge and change is so imbued in our ethos that I think the teams actually find reward in their ability to quickly adapt and change, and sometimes do it well in advance of the consumer.
Well, right now we're partnering on Gen AI, one of those big technology changes. How are you thinking about Gen AI and how it can serve your customer?
One of the things I always start with for our team is Gen AI is not a strategy in and of itself. It is a tool to help us bring our strategy to life. And so where we've really spent some time with your team in partnership is thinking through where might we get the most return for the investment, not just of dollars, but of time. Where can we learn the most?
That's right. I mean, reinvention is really about, it's everything. It's the process, it's the experience, the technology that enables it.
You also have to be ready to make mistakes. And for us, it's been as important to say, here's something that didn't work. And I think that idea of being willing to tell everyone, here's what we tried, here's what worked explicitly, but here's what didn't, I think is a really powerful tool as well. And what's happened is over the last 5 years in particular, customer shopping patterns have changed markedly. They're much less brand loyal. They find that retail isn't the inspiring experience it used to be. It feels a little more transactional. And heresy, they don't need us to always be the expert. They need us to be empathetic, they need us to care, they need us to find the right solutions. And so what we are doing is re-engineering, whether that's the in-store experience or whether that's the digital experience, around real personalized discovery. And so for our whole team, when you know explicitly how you want a customer to feel, I do think you re-engineer completely how you think about going to market.
One of the things you've shared with me that I found super powerful was that all of human progress can come down to 2 questions. Can you share that with our audience?
It's fascinating. The team did a lot of research as we were thinking about rebranding, and they did a beautiful job coming down to some really salient insights. And one of the insights was this idea that all of human progress has come down to people not being afraid to say 2 questions. What if? And why not? And what's fascinating for me is that is exactly the backbone of consumer electronics. It is continuously pushing the envelope from a technical perspective on how we change lives for the better. And so our teams, I'm really pushing them to think through every time, have those questions rolling in their heads. What if and why not? And use those as inspiration, not just for our customers, but use those as inspiration for how we recreate ourselves.
Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your advice about leading through reinvention, particularly in the age of AI.
One, be very true to your purpose. Be very true. Our purpose is to enrich lives through technology. And everything that we're doing is in service of delivering on that purpose. 2, and this is where we started the conversation, don't be so in love with the company you were to be afraid to become the company you need to be. And that should, for us, always be in service of where the customer is going. The world around us is not static, and therefore neither are we as leaders. And one more thing, don't be afraid to find great partners. Don't feel like you always have to do it by yourself. And I think our relationship between our companies is an excellent example of you helping us bring our purpose to life.
Well, thank you. We feel really privileged to be your partner. Thank you so much for sharing all this great advice today. And for everyone watching, thanks for the time. And I hope you will join us again for the next Reinvented with Accenture. She was awesome, wasn't she?
So it matters. No, it's a team effort. Nice job.